بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. Accept the fact that you are accepted despite the fact that you are unacceptable. Allah Jalla Jalalu Amma Nawaluhu has chosen us. There is no tangible reason to make us eligible for this great post which Allah has chosen us. We have been gifted with the bounty of Iman, Islam, Quran, being the best of Ummah, etc., etc., etc. Accepting the fact that we have been accepted comes with a responsibility, and failing this responsibility comes with consequences. So as the people of Iman, conditions, we should accept that the negative consequences are through our a'mal and deeds. I need to change. I need to do something about it. We could blame governments, we could blame countries, we could blame people, we could blame secret societies. But things will change when we are ready to change. So our actions have a direct impact on conditions. So how have I prepared myself, my family, my locality, the ummah spiritually, mentally, psychologically, physically, asbab wise? That is very important. They say if you strive in times of peace, you can relax in times of turmoil. If you strive in times of peace, you can relax in times of turmoil. So outward prepping, internal prepping, a believer checks himself all the time, cause and effect. What action will result in being deprived of the nusrat and the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Well, actions will draw calamities. For example, Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam has explained in a narration, إِنَّكُمْ عَلَى بَيِّنَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ مَا لَمْ تَظْهَرْ فِيكُمْ سَكْرَتَانِ. Allah's help will be with you as long as two intoxicants don't overwhelm you. You don't get involved, engage in these intoxicants. Sakratul jahr wa sakratu hubbil aish, the intoxication of drunkenness and the intoxication of love for luxury, indulgence, opulence, extravagance. وأنتم تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتجاهدون في سبيل الله. So as long as these two intoxicants don't overwhelm you and you enjoin good, forbid evil and strive in Allah's path. So 2, abstinence, and 3, medication. A doctor prescribes for his patient some medication and he gives him some parezi, abstinence, stay away from this here. So we have been prescribed this medication. If you don't do this, فَإِذَا ظَهَرَ فِيكُمْ حُبُّ الدُّنْيَا فَلَا تَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَلَا تَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَلَا تُجَاهِدُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. When this love of dunya overwhelms you, this intoxication of dunya, of opulence, of indulgence and extravagance, then you will not enjoy good, you won't encourage people to be doing good, you will not forbid evil, you will not strive in Allah's path. القائلون يومئذ بالكتاب والسنة كالسابقين الأولين من المهاجرين والأنصار. And those people who stand for the truth on that day for the book of Allah and the sunnah of the Nabi at the time where there would be total disinclination towards this, inclination to dunya, and there will be no enjoining good and forbidding evil. Then those people who stand steadfast and strong and promote deen will be like the foremost muhajirin and ansar, those muhajirin that made hijrat and ansar that made nusrat. The reward which they got was sabiqun al-awwaluna min al-muhajirin wal-ansar. Those same, you will get the reward like those. So this is the ultimate success and salvation. So we have to be cautious and we need to be active and we need to start now. So take the trouble for the time when there will be trouble. You can be out of the trouble. So now there is no trouble. Take the trouble, take the time for the time when there will be trouble. Otherwise, we will continue hoping and just waiting for things just to happen. It doesn't happen like that. We are answerable. So we need to start moving. We need to be active. We need to go to the ulama. We need to understand what is the demand of the time. And not be lax, like a farmer had employees on the farm and they were notoriously lazy. So one morning he decided to try and let's see, I can cure them, I can remove this idleness. So he called them, summoned them and said, men, I have a nice and easy job for the laziest man on the farm. Will the laziest man step forward? So 9 out of the 10 stepped forward. So Obama looked at the one left behind, and why didn't you step forward along with the others? He said, too much trouble, too much trouble. So this Zahiri Amal, external, what deeds we need to be doing, what prepping we need to be doing in case of a global meltdown. Likewise, Ruhaniya, we can stop things from happening. The spiritual world is so strong, it can delay calamities, it can delay things from coming down. So we need to start now. Hazrat Maulana Thanwi Rahmatullahi, Mujaddid Millat, explaining this nisbat-e batini, this special proximity, this close relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how powerful it is. And he explained that it's not only people rely on the men folk, no, the women folk are equally important. And Allah has given them a great status, and they've got that same possibility to achieve great spiritual heights. And he used to explain that when a woman attains this nisbat-e batini, she reaches a lofty pedestal. And he gave an example that once there was a drought and in the town, in that area, in that vicinity, it was notorious of a saintly lady. So they went to ask her for rain. So there was a platform where she normally used to perform her salah. So she loosened her hair, swept the platform with it. And after sweeping, she raised her gaze towards the asman, to the heavens, and made dua. Ya Allah, I have done the sweeping. Now you sparkle the water. Now you sparkle the water. As she said this, the rain came in torrents. So this nisbat is an important ingredient in the lives of the people of Iman. So on a global scale, these games are being played, and now recently from COVID one to the next, the global Germ games. So Mr. Bill Gates, Bill is bullying you, they're making billions, Bill is bullying you to make billions, and he has locked up people with lockdowns and gates is bullying you and locking you down with gates. So the question is it money business or monkey business with monkeypox? So they're moving on to the next level. So lockdowns, masks up, vaccinations, it's all part. Are we having a deja vu? So can you be misled to pandemics in 2 years? Statistically, scientists are saying it's impossible. So who's making a scene about the vaccine? Likewise, the smallpox vaccine cannot be implemented on a mass vaccination campaign. So they're saying that don't worry, you can take the vaccine even though there are sky high rates of heart attacks, strokes, blood clotting, death, so much cases. Will we be caught again? Will we be caught again? How come the US has already bought 13 million doses of the monkeypox vaccine? They ingeniously, swiftly developed a vaccine overnight again. So what agenda is there? And there's no way of denying these secret bio labs, and that comes back, and the intelligent people can take lesson. So the co-chair of the Parliamentary Commission of US Biological Laboratories in Ukraine, Irina Yarovaya, has mentioned clearly about these researched Ebola smallpox viruses in Ukraine. That's probably, Allahu Alam bisawab, part of the game. So why does the Pentagon have over 300 bio labs spread around the globe? And they're doing research on pathogens. So generally when they simulate these exercises, they're using the name of terrorists to make Islam and the Muslims look bad. But who are the real terrorists on a global scale to have caused so much genocide and make people pay the price for this genocide? So suddenly Mr. Gates has got some software where he could map out the future. He's spelling it out. So now recently he's warned of a smallpox terror attack, and let's go through what he had said. So from November 2021, in an interview, he clearly stated that and warned the people and governments to prepare for a simultaneous smallpox terror attack in 10 airports. So he said 10 airports and a smallpox attack, bioterrorism epidemic. And then in May 2022, May 19th, 2022, 6 months later, the news unfolds of a monkeypox virus which has spread to 10 countries. Then in February 2017, he warned of a bioterror attack of the smallpox virus. This is an announcement in the 2017 Munich Security Conference, where he said that the next epidemic could originate from terrorists using genetic engineering to create a synthetic version of the smallpox virus or a super contagious deadly strain of flu, which was the COVID. So then move down. that he wanted governments to invest in research and development. So governments need to invest billions and billions of dollars for a World Health Organization pandemic task force. So he's so bold that he's saying that in 5 years' time I can write a book saying we are ready for a next pandemic, but it'll take tens of billions in R&D, and the US, UK will be part of it. So if we had to go through the timeline, the monkeypox timeline, then we can see December 2020, the US National Security Biological Weapons experts, they had a meeting, and the NTI, Nuclear Threat Initiative, the formulation and simulation of a monkeypox pandemic. Then July 2020, FDA approval of the smallpox and monkeypox vaccine. March 2021, the tabletop simulation of the fictitious monkeypox pandemic. That was in the Munich Security Conference 2021. Then down the line, November 2021, Mr. Gates warns governments of a monkeypox terrorist attack. March 2022, WHO announcement, a monkeypox pandemic. And in May 2022, the marketing of these smallpox vaccines against monkeypox. So the timelines are just falling in place. So between the NTI, which is a non-profit organization who was founded by a US senator and a philanthropist, Ted Turner. Now, Ted Turner has close relationships with Mr. Gates. So, and they all belong to the club, from Warren Buffett to George Soros to Michael Bloomberg to Elon Musk to Jeff Bezos to Oprah Winfrey, the good club. And they part of the agenda to shrink the world population. So these simulations of these fictitious virus, one was a simulation, and they're saying that they want to create a structure. Now the open philanthropy, which is funded by another billionaire, Dustin, is the co-founder of Facebook, together with Zuckerberg, and they're all buddies with Bill Gates. So billionaires are funding billionaires. And likewise, if you look at a scenario in 2010 where the Rockefeller Foundation made a report of scenarios for future of technology and international development area, and then when in 2018 the Clade X tabletop simulation happened, and they had that simulation as well to prevent the pandemic. In 2019, the Event 201, so Event 201, 2019 October, and this was the simulation of the COVID. And then just 3 months later, they implementing what they simulated. Likewise, same scenario, monkeypox as well. They had the simulation, and they had participants from Big Pharma, the Gates Foundation, the Wellcome Trust, WHO, UN, representatives across the globe. And the whole simulation was done, and they're saying the simulation was over 18 months, and 3 billion cases, 270 million fatalities. And I'm not going to get into details of the simulation, but just if we had to look at what they're saying, firstly, 150 initial infections on May the 15th, 2022. That was their simulation. And then 15th of May 2022, it happens, 150 cases, exactly as they simulated. But what's more hard is then June 5th, 2022, 1,421 cases. Now the alarming one is January 10th, 2023, 83 countries affected, 70 million cases, 1.3 million deaths, and monkeypox has been engineered to be vaccine resistant. International supply chain challenges. This is all their simulation. Allah knows best what's going to pan out, but we can see that even though the PCR tests are not valid, they're using the PCRs, it's still been emphasized. And what was their recommendation? The Khulasa summary, they wanted an established international public health alert system, which was like the UN, where you can control the world. It's another system to control you. Then an institute for triggers for response for pandemics. Then governments to adopt a no regret policy. We'll do lockdowns, we'll do as we wish, we'll arrest you, we'll fine you, we'll do what we want to. Then an international entity that will reduce these biological risks, and a global health security fund, again to extract money from different governments and steal from you. So and then if you look at who's behind this here, who's pushing all of these agendas. So one was, we said, Mr. Gates, then Mr. Hopkins, then George Gaofu, who was head of the China's CDC, and Dr. Chris, who is the president of the Global Development Division of the Gates Foundation. So all of these people here are connected, and they have their planning on a global scale, and it's a game that's been played. If only the world knew, even the soldiers that are going in battle now and are fighting in these wars are just pawns, whether it's the Ukrainian people that are fighting to save their country, or if only they knew who's been played. Likewise, the American soldiers are being played in a big game for some elites, and you are just the pawn. So we need to see the truth from the lies. All we need to do is get close to Allah and build our relationship with Allah and do the amal to draw the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's our only salvation, that's our only road, that's the only chapter to embark on. More than that, asbab wise as well, we should be preparing and getting ready, a believer's ready in all situation at all times. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect one and all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide one and all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding and tawfiq. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.